Imagine, you're a commercial pilot soaring high above the clouds in a nondescript aircraft, carrying millions of dollars worth of illicit cargo. Not just goods, but secrets that could topple governments and ignite international scandals.
The Sandinistas have even involved themselves in the international drug trade.
The agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time.
This isn't a scene from an action movie. This was the reality for Barry Seal, a commercial pilot whose life story reads like a Hollywood script. In fact, you might have seen a version of it in the film American Made, where Tom Cruise brings to life a man who was a pilot, a smuggler, and eventually a spy in one of the most infamous drug cartels in history. But what's the true story here? This question takes us through the back alleys of power, into the heart of government scandals, and across the skies of a world few of us ever see. Ask yourself this: if given the chance, would you risk everything for a life of unbelievable wealth? If every second could be your last? July 16th, 1939. Barry Seal's journey starts in the most unlikely of places, as the son of a candy merchant. But beneath the surface of this seemingly ordinary life, a fiery passion is brewing in young Barry, a passion for the skies. By the age of 15, Barry is already soaring through the air, piloting planes with a remarkable skill for his age. A flight instructor, amazed by his talent, says he's naturally gifted. But it is not just his skill that sets him apart. His charisma and his ability to spin tales are traits that would later define his life in ways he could have never imagined. Fast forward to 1955. Barry joins the Civil Air Patrol. Here, he crosses paths with David Ferrie and Lee Harvey Oswald, names that later become infamous in their own right. These encounters, seemingly inconsequential at the time, were the first steps on a path that would lead Barry into a labyrinth of illicit activities. You see, Barry's first venture into smuggling wasn't drugs, but guns. In a scheme orchestrated by David Ferrie, he gets involved in gun running for Fidel Castro. This is no small-time operation. It's a daring, risky venture, a far cry from the innocent dreams of flying he once had. Around this time, Barry also joins the Louisiana Army National Guard. On the surface, it seems like a patriotic move, but Barry's motives are different. The National Guard gives him access to more sophisticated aircraft and, more importantly, refines his flying skills to near perfection. In 1964, Barry's career takes a significant turn. He joins Trans World Airlines, one of the major players of that time, and quickly climbs the ranks to become their youngest Boeing 707 captain ever. Barry Seal is now a man going places, but sometimes, even the brightest stars yearn for darker skies. For someone like Barry, who's tasted the thrill of smuggling, commercial flying feels like flying in a straight line. No risks, no adrenaline, no excitement. As the years go by, Barry's discontent grows. He craves the excitement of his earlier, riskier days. In 1972, Barry makes a decision that will change his life forever. He connects with Murray Morris Kessler, a figure from the darker side of the tracks. Together, they hatch a plan to smuggle 1,350 pounds of explosives. It's daring, it's dangerous, and it's illegal. The execution? A complete disaster. Barry and his partner are arrested in New Orleans, with over 1,000 kilograms of explosives. The case is eventually dropped, but so is Barry's dream of flying commercially. But his journey into the underworld has only just begun. As the 1970s draw to a close, Barry Seal's life takes a dramatic turn. From a disgraced former TWA pilot, he transforms into a key player in the international drug trade. Barry's first taste of the drug smuggling world isn't the white powder he'd later become known for. It is marijuana. This initial step into the underworld is like a trial run, a safer play in a dangerous game. But for Barry, it is more than just business. It is an adrenaline rush, a chance to apply his aviation prowess in a high-stakes arena. By the late 1970s, Barry is deep in the game. He shifts gears from marijuana to cocaine. Cocaine smuggling comes with higher stakes, violent competition, and harsh legal penalties. But the lure of astronomical profits is irresistible. In 1979, Barry's operations take him to Honduras, a stark contrast to the familiarity of Louisiana. Here, he faces a new challenge. The authorities discover an M16 rifle and a large amount of cash on his plane. Barry is arrested and thrown into a Honduran prison. But even here, his story takes a twist. Most people would see jail time as a disaster, but for Barry Seal, it is an opportunity. Behind bars in Honduras, Barry isn't just serving time, he is making connections, networking in a way that only he could. In prison, Barry meets William Roger Reeves, a smuggler with contacts. Through Reeves, Barry is introduced to the Medellin cartel, the notorious drug syndicate led by figures like Pablo Escobar. It's a gateway into the heart of the drug empire. Sensing an opportunity in Barry's aviation skills, the cartel is quick to offer him a role in their operations. For Barry, it's the golden opportunity he's been waiting for, to escalate his ambitions to an international scale. The Medellin cartel is not just a criminal group, it's an enterprise. Its influence stretches across continents, and Barry Seal, he's about to become a key player. With a combination of charm, wit, and perhaps a little bribery, Barry secures his release from prison after almost 9 months of being incarcerated. He walks out with a renewed determination, a plan to take his operations to new heights. In the cartel, Barry becomes known as El Gordo, the Fat Man. It's a name that carries weight, both literally and figuratively. Barry's role is crucial, smuggling cocaine into Louisiana and Florida. We're talking about massive quantities of cocaine and millions of dollars changing hands. Hidden away in a secluded property in Louisiana lies his arsenal, a fleet of aircraft, each tailored and modified with one sole purpose: the transport of contraband. At the heart of Barry's operation is a location that could be lifted straight from the pages of a spy novel: the Mena Intermountain Municipal Airport in Arkansas.
This is Barry Seal, a highly publicized drug smuggler originally operating out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's believed that Seal decided to move his operation out of that state after the warning. It was here, at Rich Mountain Aviation, that authorities believed Barry Seal moved his operation.
Far from a mere runway, this airport becomes the strategic hub for his underground activities. It is here, in the quiet landscape of rural Arkansas, that Barry operates with chilling efficiency. He transforms the municipal airport into the nerve center of his smuggling operations, leveraging its facilities to modify aircraft and manage the logistics. Here, Barry plays out his role as the mastermind, orchestrating his operations with a precision that is both brilliant and terrifying. But Barry's strategy extends beyond the skies. Bribes grease palms with corrupt officials in the US and countries in Central and South America, ensuring safe passage and operation. The scope of Barry's operations is vast, a sprawling web with threads stretching across continents. From the dense jungles of Central and South America to the heart of the United States, his operations have a reach that is both impressive and chilling. Louisiana, with its unique geography and Barry's deep understanding of its terrain, becomes the primary gateway for his operations. His most daring tactic is the swamp airdrops. Picture this: the dead of night, small planes gliding low, skimming the treetops. Barry and his crew, equipped with night vision goggles and walkie-talkies, executing precision drops of cocaine into the swamps. Barry is no ordinary smuggler. He's a pioneer, a mastermind of the skies. He slips beneath radar detection and uses the emerging GPS technology for pinpoint drops of cocaine into remote Louisiana swamps for his ground crew to collect. This drastically lowers the risk of getting caught with the drugs. It's revolutionary, setting new standards in the smuggling world. Barry's planes are equipped with advanced modifications, hidden compartments, enhanced engines, and even technology to evade radar detection. Barry is like a chess player in a high-stakes game. He never flies straight. He adapts, evolves, and reinvents his methods, always staying one step ahead of law enforcement. He's an innovator. But dealing with the Medellin cartel is like dancing with the devil. He maintains a cautious relationship with the cartel leaders. He is essential to them, but he isn't stepping into their empire more than necessary, playing the game like a seasoned gambler. The payoff? Huge. Barry earns approximately $500,000 per flight. We're talking about big money, the kind that changes lives. and the kind that draws attention. By 1983, Barry's life is a paradox. On one hand, he's at the peak of his smuggling career, living a life of unimaginable wealth. On the other, he's a man on the edge, constantly looking over his shoulder, aware that his empire could crumble at any moment. His earnings from smuggling paint a picture of success that many can only dream of, and it's displayed for the world to see. Luxury cars, boats, sprawling properties, and a lifestyle dripping with excess. This is the kingdom of Barry Seal. But as Barry's operations grow, so does the attention from the DEA and FBI. His profile in the drug trafficking world makes him a prime target for law enforcement agencies. Barry is more than a suspect. He is a challenge, a puzzle that the authorities are desperate to solve. Despite being under constant surveillance, Barry remains elusive. Law enforcement finds it challenging to build a concrete case against him. His operational methods are sophisticated, a blend of traditional smuggling tactics and advanced technology. Barry isn't just avoiding capture, he is mocking the agencies that want to bring him down. But in the world of the cartel, trust is scarce, danger is abundant, and every flight could be your last. It's the early 1980s, and Barry's world of smuggling is about to come crashing down. The man who once flew under the radar is now drawing the kind of attention he's always tried to avoid. The DEA, with its growing crackdown on drug trafficking, is closing in on the operations of the Medellin cartel, and with it, on Barry himself. They launch one of their most ambitious operations yet, Operation Screamer, a meticulously planned crusade against the arteries of the drug world, the pilots. Barry's life, once filled with the thrill of the night sky and the clinking of millions, is turning into a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. He's moving more cautiously, but the net is closing fast. The DEA, equipped with intel and a determination to dismantle the drug trade, is piecing together the puzzle, and Barry Seal is a key piece. They are tracking flights, mapping routes, and zeroing in on the key players. And then, it happens, the breakthrough they've been waiting for. In a coordinated strike, the DEA swoops in. Barry, the master smuggler, the elusive El Gordo, finds himself trapped, outmaneuvered, and facing an array of charges. The man who once outsmarted law enforcement at every turn is now in handcuffs, his empire crumbling around him. Caught by the DEA and faced with the prospect of a lengthy prison sentence, Barry is presented with a stark choice: a future behind bars or a risky path to redemption. The DEA recognize the gold mine they have in Barry, so they strike a deal. Barry becomes an informant. His task? To delve deep into the underbelly of the drug world, to provide insider information, and to betray the very empire he helped to build. Barry's mission is extremely dangerous. Infiltrate the Medellin cartel and gather evidence against none other than Pablo Escobar, the most notorious drug lord of the time. It is a declaration of war against one of the most dangerous men in the world. Barry is not just walking into the lion's den, he is challenging the lion itself. Armed with his piloting skills and a web of criminal contacts, Barry embarks on a series of undercover missions. As an informant, he has access to the inner layers of the drug world, a position that could either make or break the DEA's efforts. Each flight brings the DEA closer to the heart of the Medellin cartel's operations. Barry Seal, once a smuggler defying the skies, is now a pivotal player in the DEA's quest to dismantle a drug empire. His task is to collect incriminating evidence against the cartel members, a dangerous game of espionage. This involves recording conversations, snapping photos of Pablo Escobar alongside Cuban officials and Nicaraguan soldiers, all while maintaining the facade of a loyal associate. As Barry navigates these treacherous missions, little does he know, his story is about to take a dramatic turn. On the federal front, thanks to his cooperation with the DEA, his sentence is dramatically reduced to probation. It's a lifeline, but one that comes with its own set of chains. Back in Louisiana, the state has its own score to settle with Barry. He is placed under house arrest. It seems like a lesser evil compared to federal prison, but it's a deceptive sanctuary. His every move is monitored, his once boundless world now shrunk to the confines of his home. In February 1986, Barry Seal's lifeline is finally severed. the Washington Times drops a bombshell, a front-page story that blows the lid off Barry's undercover activities as a DEA informant. Although the article itself doesn't name Barry explicitly, it indicates that the DEA has an undercover pilot who has recently gathered evidence showing Nicaraguan officials' involvement in smuggling drugs to the United States. The DEA's operations against the Medellin cartel, including Barry's critical involvement, begins to surface. Wiretaps, surveillance photos, Barry's own testimonies, the evidence of his betrayal becomes undeniable. In the world of narcotics and covert operations, trust is a fragile thing, and betrayal is always a whisper away. Rumors point to a source within the US government, possibly linked to the Reagan administration. This leak isn't just a slip, it's strategic, using Barry's revelations to progress political objectives in Central America. But in this high-stakes game of geopolitical chess, Barry becomes an expendable pawn. The cartel, upon confirming Barry's betrayal, places a bounty of up to $500,000 on his head. It's a grim development. Barry Seal, once a towering figure in the world of drug smuggling, is now a hunted man, his past catching up with him in the most dangerous of ways. In the underworld's economy, this is a clear message. Barry Seal's life is up for sale. As part of his community service sentence, Barry is forced to serve at a local Salvation Army center. Adding to his perilous situation, Barry's address during his community service becomes public knowledge.
To let him go somewhere else. We had an arrangement for him to go to Florida. He thought he would be safe, wouldn't be known.
Judge Palazzolo said no.
Didn't want to hear about it.
It's a critical mistake, effectively painting a target on his back. It's a death sentence.
The Baton Rouge U.S. Attorney and the judge here knew full well what the danger was. I couldn't have expressed it more passionately, nor could my co-counsel have expressed it more passionately. We had affidavits from another assistant United States attorney. I had witnesses prepared to testify at the hearing, and the fact of the matter is they wanted him here. They wanted to teach him a lesson.
Surrounded by legal challenges and under the constant threat of cartel retribution, Barry lives each day with the knowledge that it could be his last.
Testing to the danger that Mr. Seal was in, and we begged the judge and the U.S. Attorney's Office here to relent on these conditions. They wouldn't back off.
Amidst the chaos, Barry's thoughts turn to his family. The danger he faces now extends to those he holds dear. In a desperate bid to shield them from the cartel's wrath, Barry moves them to undisclosed locations. Despite the escalating threats, Barry's obligations to the DEA bind him to a routine that makes him vulnerable. It's a cruel irony. The very system he is aiding is inadvertently exposing him to grave danger. He continues to appear in court, each appearance a potential opportunity for his enemies. For an informant of his caliber, you would expect the highest level of protection. But Barry Seal finds himself in a unique predicament. His public exposure has taken away the anonymity that is usually the shield of informants. The DEA, despite valuing Barry's intel, cannot fully protect him from the consequences of the leak. February 19th, 1986, a date that marks the tragic end of Barry Seal's tumultuous journey, from a gifted pilot to a notorious smuggler, and finally, a beleaguered informant. Barry's story reaches its chilling conclusion in the parking lot of the Salvation Army Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Barry arrives, likely thinking about his complicated web of past actions and present dangers. Little does he know, this is his final act. Colombian hitmen, dispatched by the Medellin cartel, wait to execute a carefully planned hit. For them, this isn't just a hit, it's retribution, a message to anyone who dares to cross the cartel. The assassination is swift, brutal, and final. Barry Seal, once a figure who cast a large shadow in the world of drug trafficking, is gone.
He used to smuggle drugs, and he got caught, and he became one of the government's most valuable informants in the war against cocaine. But last night in Louisiana, Barry Seal's enemies caught up with him and killed him.
The news sends shockwaves far beyond the streets of Baton Rouge and through the highest levels of power. The Reagan administration, already grappling with the complexities of Latin American policies, finds itself in the midst of a storm. The aftermath of the assassination sees law enforcement piecing together the events leading to Barry's death. The investigation reveals a stark fact. The hitmen had been closely watching Barry, taking advantage of the clear weakness in his protection and his predictable routine. The assassins, simple pawns in the cartel's broader scheme, are swiftly arrested. Their capture opens a Pandora's box of legal and diplomatic challenges, implicating high-ranking cartel members, including Jorge Ochoa and Pablo Escobar. Barry Seal becomes a figure larger than life. His undercover operations as the DEA's top informant granted the agency an unprecedented look into the Medellin cartel, a world shrouded in mystery. Barry's daring flights and secret meetings provided crucial intelligence on the cartel's operations, including their routes, methods, and key figures. His involvement with the DEA goes beyond just the busts and seizures. He fundamentally changed how the agency approaches its war on drugs. His tactics, his methodology, and even his mistakes became lessons, reshaping DEA training and operational strategies. Barry Seal, the smuggler turned informant, left an indelible mark on the very functioning of drug enforcement. The photos Barry captured of Nicaraguan Sandinista officials entangled in drug trafficking became more than just criminal evidence. They were political ammunition. This information was used to justify the U.S.'s controversial support of the Contras, fueling the fire of the Cold War's proxy battles in Central America. The use of Barry's findings by the Reagan administration sparked a heated debate. It raised questions about the extent and nature of U.S. involvement in foreign conflicts, especially in Central America. Barry Seal unwittingly became a central figure in a discussion that would shape U.S. foreign policy for years to come. In the wake of Barry's death, his family grappled with more than just grief. The financial empire Barry had built crumbled. The IRS, claiming unpaid taxes on his illegal earnings, seized his assets. In a twist of fate, the only significant asset remaining was Barry's life insurance policy, a substantial sum that provided some financial stability for his family in the turbulent times following his death. For Barry's children, the aftermath was a dual burden: the loss of a father and the weight of his notorious legacy. They grew up in the shadow of a man whose life was a blend of bravery, betrayal, and controversy, a story that would forever color their world. Barry Seal's life and death depict a man who fell victim to the world he sought to conquer. His legacy is complex, marked by significant contributions to drug enforcement and a controversial role in international politics. It's a tale of bravery, deception, and the far-reaching consequences of a life lived on the edge. It offers a deep look into the human mind, the allure of money and risk, and the unseen forces that shape our world. Barry Seal's journey, though filled with illegal actions and moral dilemmas, still resonates today, reminding us of the enduring impact of our choices. It's more than just a story about one man. It's a reflection on the indelible marks we leave on the world and on each other.